Hello, friends. I'm Major Mohammed Ali Shah, and I have the honor of being in conversation with a very, very popular social activist who we all really admire a lot. Yes, she needs no introduction at all, Nafisa Ali. She is a wife of a former army officer and who is an Arjuna awardee and one of the most illustrious officers of the Indian Army. She has an illustrious background, and she's going to tell us what she feels she about the horrifying video that emerged on Manipur. In fact, she on women's rights. She's going to be speaking about that and her view and how deeply pained we all are, because I have interviewed people from both the communities, from the Major tribe community and the Kuki tribe, but here we would have a very neutral voice and a person who will speak for women, in fact. Ma'am, thank you very much. Jai Hind, and thank you for taking our time, ma'am.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Uh, Thank you for asking or remembering me, because this struggle or this movement or what is happening in Manipur is just the tip of the iceberg, the information that has come out, because they have shut down all communication, as you know. And because this incident has so badly shamed the government, that finally, after 77 days, the Prime Minister has spoken out. You know, and all of us know, those who work in the field of calming sentiment, you have to act very quickly. I'm sure so you can't have the army coming in to its own people to try uh, to make the people understand how important it is, because unless you give understanding to them, the cultural differences and cultural ties are very strong in India, in tribal life, in the northeastern states, and in all parts of India. I'm sure that you will agree with that. And
Right.
this and this double engine sarkar, as they call themselves, when the state and the center are together, they try to cover up so much. Same happened in Kashmir, same happened in Gujarat, same happened uh, in states where you don't want the international community to know. But the international community today, it's a world of interaction and connectivity. You cannot hide anything. So it is tragic that atrocities have happened, but have come to light only now. And just one incident has ensured that the prime minister, who should have spoken out 77 days ago or any days ago, has finally, after seeing this video that has gone viral, spoken towards towards the trauma that this has caused. It's not about women. Uh, it's not about anything. Simply the democratic values and rights to the people of India. You cannot destroy that. You cannot uh, burn, hurt, harm, and become aggressors and be quiet. You cannot.
Ma'am, ma'am, I know it's everyone, as a man, I hang my head in shame, especially when I saw that video, and I when I saw that video, I felt now it's gone beyond. It's not about Maite tribe and the Kuki community. It's about how a man would disrespect a woman. And I really, truly speaking, ma'am, and I mean from the bottom of my heart, I hang my head as a man in shame. I feel we are worse than animals. In fact, animals are more civilized than us, in fact, for that matter. So, what was your first reaction when you? I wonder, and I hope people haven't shared that video further, because it's indeed painful. It will only spread hatred. Ma'am,
But
how angry you must have been? Very angry, but how angry? I
no,
mean,
I'm
it's
not angry. I, uh, when because I have been associated in the very closely in bringing or working for peace and becoming a voice from the 2002 Gujarat riots. The atrocities there on women and children. Do you remember it? It was horrific. pregnant women whose stomachs were torn open. All these things that happened. It's it was not even look at Bilkis Bano today. She's fighting for justice. You know so it's it's a psyche that is just unacceptable. It is unacceptable. But if the police stand by, if the state stands by, if the center allows it to happen, double engine sarkar, as it said, then where do the people go? What is the recourse, people? What are they supposed to do? We don't want a civil war. We don't want a civil uh, action against its own people. Somebody has to bring it to the situation of better understanding. The chief ministers, to start with, Gujarat also, the chief minister stayed on, but at least in today's time, in the way that the world is looking at us, this chief minister should resign or be told to step down and let the people, or either give president's rule or let the people decide who should represent both sides, and let harmony prevail. You cannot just throw throw one people, which is, I think, it's a 40% of the state, into chaos.
Ma'am, I have deep attachment to Manipur. In fact, I went there as my father was in the army as well. So I went there as a Fauji brat, and then later on in service, when I went as the ADC to the corps commander of the spare code. In fact, this is a spare code tie that I'm wearing. The spare code
Yeah.
covers Manipur, Nagaland,
Manipur
Mizoram.
are very, and people of Manipur are so brilliant, highly intelligent, progressive, and it is our bordering. It has a huge border with Burma. So the cultural ties of this. I mean, nature knows no boundaries. People are displaced. They go into each other's family ties, or into safe havens. And we have done so much for the people of Tibet. We now need to ensure that the people of Manipur, those who are displaced, are given a home and a sanctuary for economic progress, because Manipur is an integral part of India. If the people are suffering, India suffers. We cannot allow that. We need harmony and respect for all those in Manipur presently who are in a state of total chaos and trauma. We don't want, and please don't send the army into, because what can the army do against its own people?
Right. Ma'am, I feel very, very sorry for the state of Manipur, in fact, and right now what's happening. But there's one video which emerged, which went viral. Like that, obviously, I mean, there must be other cases which must
Plenty.
have
There
been
must be
so
plenty.
many
There must
cases.
be plenty.
So many
This
cases.
is the tip of the iceberg, because if you know the, I mean, when I mean, people turning against each other and just becoming inhuman. We have seen it continuously over and over again. It should not happen. It should be addressed immediately. They should not be shutting down of the internet. We must allow facts to come out, so that the world and activists and people who care enough can speak out and become accountable. We, the people of India, are accountable to ourselves. Uh, it's not only about the government's job. If there is harm happening, and because for political reasons it is being uh, kept silent, well, then we are not good human beings. India is about humanity, and we have to lead the way. People have to lead the way. This is a people's cultural support structure that has to become active. We should not all be bystanders. Tomorrow, it could be you, me, it could be anybody. We must stand for each other.
Ma'am. Ma'am, and you gave some very, very good, wise words, ma'am. And before I let you go, I have one last question for you, ma'am. Ma'am, you remember Nirbhaya case when she was gang raped, and in fact, the whole country voiced it out, and everybody was there were protests, there were candlelight marches. I had the honor of interviewing Nirbhaya's mother, and I was deeply pained when I was speaking to her, and when she told me how her family has coped with the entire irreparable loss. Ma'am, there have been killings in Manipur, there have been beheadings, there have been brutal murders from both the sides. In fact, both the sides have lost their near and dear ones. It took video, one viral video of very unfortunate, brutal.
Sensational, sensational pain for the media to take it up and for the Prime Minister to speak after 77 days. You think that the government didn't know all this was going on? They are the government. You cannot silence the people. And I pray and I appeal to Manipur, stop this, because the pain and the hurt will last for generations. I know that what is happening and has happened is traumatic, sad, unacceptable, painful, and hurtful. But please give the dignity of India a chance to stand by you for the people to have their problems and issues addressed, and the cultural understanding to become a tapestry of strength, because only then can India stand tall in the world and amongst ourselves.
Ma'am, one, I want to tell you one thing. In the year 2005, since when you mentioned that by sending the army over there, we should not, that was your statement. I'll tell you one, my personal experience being an army person. I'm in the year 2005 was the first time I went to Manipur as a service officer, as a young captain. And when I was the AG to the Spare Corps, and I was authorized to wear this tie there. And in 2004, the allegedly Manorama Devi rape case had just taken place, where the Maira Pabais, who are the mighty women, the mothers of Manipur, they had come and they had protested that go back Indian Army and go back Assam Rifles and such things. Ma'am, I want to tell you my experience with the Maira Pabais, personal first-hand account. Ma'am, they were very sweet to me, very cooperative, and we had a way of dealing with them. But that's a different issue altogether. When there used to be an army operation launched, how they would surround the army and how they would not allow, they would protect their sons, like any mother would actually protect their son. That's a different thing. Even
Look what happened in Kashmir. They've disappeared. Young men have disappeared. No answers.
So when you mention about the army should not be there, I'll tell you my personal
Punjab.
experience.
You
I'll
remember
tell you my personal experience.
Punjab? Yeah.
So I had just come from JNK, where there was Armed Forces Special Power Act over there as well, and in Northeast as well. And there have been a lot of hue and cry about it being repelled. Well, as a forces person, I say it can definitely be amended to a certain extent. I mean, it can be amended, no doubt. But if you want the army to function and to bring in peace and security, it's actually very, very difficult and practically almost impossible to do away with it. But definitely, I say it can be amended. Ma'am, I was in an area in JNK and Northeast where the guns were blazing big time. I'll not deny. Ma'am, my gun blazed too. But instead of firing bullets from my gun, I chose to fire love, peace, compassion, humanity, human touch. And let me tell you, ma'am, we got a perceived enemy, I would say, because they're our own people, right? They are not a foreign country. We got them on our side. We won so many hearts and minds. And people would tell me that, Captain Ali, I was a captain that time. When we meet an officer like you or your troops, we feel the army is here to defend us, to save us. We have that confidence now, not to intimidate us. I learned the local language, the local dialect, the culture. I speak fluent language of the Northeast, ma'am. And I have had an affiliation with the Northeast, be it the Maiti community, be it the tribals over there. I have grown up with them actually. So it is, ma'am, it's been a huge honor and real pleasure being in conversation with you, and you have given some very
And
good
that,
insight.
I want to say that, they say that in the hill districts, poppy cultivation, which is anti, I mean, it's the power of the poppy cultivation is misused by the drug lords and the mafia. But poppy cultivation is also used in medicine so maybe the government needs to tie up with poppy cultivation and allow the people under like we have hemp hemp today. Marijuana is also cultivated for medical purposes, for the good of the people. So let that become part of the process. Don't, uh, I mean, cultivation for health is also important. They need to be guided and made to understand that money is not everything. India is everything, and its people is Northeast is as you know, Northeast have such huge drug issues, and so does, as you know, Punjab and Kashmir, border states. So we must help the people realize and give them avenues of uh, economic progress, so that whatever they do for the betterment of society, and not just about money or uh, uh, it's I understand that it must be stopped, but it can be used for progress too.
Ma'am,
Drugs is bad for people.
ma'am,
Drugs is bad for society. Drugs are humanifies a human being, because they don't know when they are addicts. They don't know what they're doing.
ma'am, just permit me for just speaking on your behalf for a minute, because I would like to clarify something to the audience on your behalf, that I would say, and correct me if I misunderstood that or misread that, ma'am. Because going by the flavor of the social media nowadays, and and it is very unfortunate that I see a lot of hate happening. I mean, from both the sides, in fact, from all the sides. So now, and people misconstruing statements. So I do not want anyone to misconstrue after watching this that, oh, Nafisa Ali encourages poppy cultivation or drug dealing. No, she did not mean that at all. And what
Not
I
at
read
all.
it, not at all, not at all, exactly. That's why I
They're
have taken the
detrimental to the.
absolutely,
It's absolutely
absolutely,
detrimental, but it is a cult. It's a product that can be used medically and is used medically. It allowed the find a path to encourage people to give it under controlled conditions and earn out of that, if that is what grows in that area. Whether
absolutely,
it's hemp
absolutely, ma'am.
oil, even hemp, marijuana today, the world has recognized it as a healer.
Right.
Not for the addicts, not for the addicts.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Don't
That is
fan
why,
the fire. Don't fan the
yeah.
fire.
That is why I said, let me clarify this on your behalf instead of you
Yes,
speaking. Let me
yes,
say what I understood, and let so no one else should misunderstand. And you know how it is.
absolutely.
किसी
Yes,
भी बात का
absolutely.
छोटी सी बात का बड़ा इशू बना देते हैं आराम से. They blow out of proportion. So that I know
Absolutely.
exactly what you meant, and I understood that
And
completely.
I
And
hope it is understood in the correct sentiment in which it is said. The people need economic progress. Give them the pathway to be enable that uh, to. It's a cash crop that needs to be guided.
absolutely, ma'am. And having said that, ma'am, जो लोग brand कर देते हैं cookies को, oh, they are poppy cultivators and such things.
Oh, then taking to arms. It's
I
all
think I think you can't brand anybody as a poppy cultivator. I don't think you can brand. And the very fact that, ma'am, I come from the Assam Rifles. In the Assam Rifles, we had cookies, we had maitis, and maitis. When I say
and
not just Manipuri Hindus. I,
Nagas.
yes, we had Nagas, we had Tankuls, the Naga warriors of Manipur. We had, and when I say maitis, I don't mean
Proud,
maite.
and then all such proud, beautiful people.
Exactly, ma'am. Exactly. I don't just mean Maitei Hindus. I mean the Sanamais as well. I mean the Pangals. Pangals are the Manipuri Muslims, basically. Also the Maitei Christians. We had so many people. In fact, among cookies, we had the Thadao speaking cookies. We had the cookies omis. We had the bears. We had the Wi-Fi's. We also had the Gaites. We had Southis. We had the Misos as well. So the very fact we all coexisted together, we
It's
all
so
fought shoulder to shoulder.
it's so important. I mean, you can't. I mean, like it's Manipur is home, is part of our home, and people who live there are part of our family. And I end with the thought that the people of Manipur should now heal, and the atrocities, the pain, the suffering. It cannot be erased, but it can be quietened down and kept in memory historically in history, so that we don't repeat these sort of incidences, repeated pain, rioting, aggression, divide and rule, political tamasha that instigates such fires. We don't need that. The army is an integral part of protecting India from aggressors, not from its own people. And I salute the army always that have stepped up peace marches. The peace marches are reassuring to the people, and do it with a quiet dignity and understanding, which they always do.
Ma'am, you being a very illustrious army officer's wife, and who would know better than you? Ma'am, thank you very much, and do convey my regards to Colonel Pickle Sodi, and a huge honor being in conversation with you. And thank you very much for giving these insights, ma'am. Jai Hind, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's going off air, ma'am.